Live, Marty.
Yes. Yes, hail Delito and bonjour and good evening everybody. Welcome live around Australia and New Zealand, or wherever you are watching around the world. This is the final round of the wheel-to-wheel racing Div 6 boys tonight. We are currently watching it as I, Marty Boy 96, but we participate with the Div 6 boys tonight, and we are also proudly sponsored by Racers. I will pass you to our official commentators tonight, Captain Lowside and Fane. Please take it away, boys. Please.
Good evening, all. Thank you, Marty, for the intro.
Sorry I stuffed up.
Job well done, mate. Job well done.
Top job.
Leave you to focus to racing now. Go out and
much.
represent our team for us.
Thank you. Go BTGTR.
Yeah, go BTGR. As Marty said, welcome to Wheel-to-Wheel Racing. Tonight we are at Circuit del South for round 12. It is our Super Enduro. The circuit has been made famous by Le Mans 24 Hour, and we are replicating that to our best effort. So 90 minutes of racing, jam-packed full of wheel-to-wheel's finest. So looking forward to a good night of racing. We have 38 corners, and we are doing the 22 laps of this circuit, hoping for some close racing between strategy and see if people work together or if they are going out by themselves. Biggest thing around here is track penalties. It's really, really easy to go wide on a circuit where there is tarmac to your left and to your right. Really got to know where those track limits are, so that's definitely going to be part of the strategy. If you can keep it clean, you'll be coming off well. So joining me in the commentary box tonight is Fang. Welcome, Fang.
Thank you, and thank you, Marty, as well, for that awesome introduction.
Yeah. Sorry I stuffed it a little bit. Sorry. All good.
No, it was top job, man.
Okay,
should be a awesome night of racing tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And also joining us in the commentary box and doing our visuals for tonight is Dodgy86. Welcome, Dodgy.
Yeah, thanks, Lowside. Great to be here and looking so forward to tonight. These Div 6 guys, we just saw a quick one-lap dash and it was awesome. There was a lot of close racing on this long 13.6 kilometre track for these guys. So 100% excited to watch this race tonight, and I know we've got a few drivers out there wanting to jump in and give us some of their expert tips during the race as well, so looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a great mix of cars tonight as well. There's everything from Nissan, there's several Porsches that I can see. We're representing Toyota, we have Aston, Jag, so there's Merc as well. It's going to be, and Mazda too, I've just seen. So a fantastic mix of cars, which should introduce some fantastic racing for us. So fingers crossed that's going to work out for us. Fang, who do you think's going to take out top spot?
Gosh, that's a tough one, and
isn't it?
There's a lot of good drivers in that field. This is I've driven most of the year with most of these guys. So it's going to be some nice, clean, close racing. I'd be going out on a limb to suggest who might take it out. Could be anyone's race. It is 22 laps, so could be anyone's. But there's some quick times out there. I guess if we look at the qualifying time sheets, we've got essentially two relatively newcomers, I think, to wheel-to-wheel. We've got some top times that I should have open on the tab right at the moment, but I don't.
Can you let me pick that up for you, mate?
Yeah.
Just Kingston has done the best. He's done a 3:59, 3:10 for his quali lap.
Absolutely outstanding time. That trumps people right through to bottom of Div 2. A lot of people in Div 3 as well. So he's definitely shown his pace.
Yeah,
I haven't seen a lot of Just Kingston before. I'm not sure if he's from I haven't seen him in Div 6 a lot. So I think
he's fairly fresh. So he's come to wheel right at the end of the season. But let's see what they can do. We're lining up on the start line now.
All right, guys. That's I've got a one-lapper here. We've got to try and get out of that.
Forgot to change the time. No worries. Take your time, Ralph. Just let them all know to restart.
We'll do it again.
Yeah.
We'll need to jump out. We certainly can't be doing a one-lapper. That's no good for anyone.
No, well, what we'll do is I'll just duck back to the quali times here, and we'll see what we've got. So we started at a 3:59 for just Kingston it. Then we had Broken Spoke and Baseman KPL. KPL is the Kiwi pit lane boys. We've got a few Kiwis in here tonight. We won't hold it against them tonight. But yeah, he's the first of the 4-minute flat guys. He was 4 minutes 0.66. Then we've gone through down in order of qualifiers: Oz Tormentor and Marchy Boy. Marchy Boy's hit a 4:01. Mr. Navoli was a 4:02. Then we had Mad Dukesy, who's at 4:03. Big Red Ralph at 4:05. War Buffer at 4:06. New Zealand Cowboys, another one at 4:06, and we had War Sinister finishing off there at a 4:08. There were two in here that did unfortunately not get a chance to qualify, and that's Screw Loose 420 and Checkmate. I haven't seen Screw Loose's name pop up tonight if he's in. I saw Checkmate in there, but hopefully we've got a full div in tonight anyway.
Yeah, it looks pretty full from my perspective. So it's giving a look over the qualifying times. They're all really quite close to each other. So if they can keep that consistency up, it's certainly going to be a pack of close racing. And I expect to see a lot of people working together and trying to pull out some slipstreams or conserve fuel, or work together to be able to edge out the long game.
And Broken Spoke is the only one left out there. I don't know if you can hear us or not. You need to restart if you're hearing us, Broken Spoke.
Yeah,
we're all restarting.
There we go.
There we go. So everyone's out. Now everyone needs to tick back in, and then we can be on for our Enduro.
Broken Spoke, I think, could be one to look out for. He's a friend of mine. I'll better get that.
Oh, that's it. He's done for now.
But he's pretty new to it. He's not long had the wheel and not long had the game. I bought the digital copy. I'll give him my hard copy. So
Perfect. Always welcome to new people into the league.
Yeah, and he's doing quite well. He's
I'm just on with Broken Spoke right now. Fang, I noticed he's got a few little tricky stickers on the back of his vehicle there.
He does. It's quite a nice livery there too, isn't it? It's we might cross back to that one later during the race. I'm not quite on board yet. But,
Must be a Fang livery, that one.
It is. We used to race RC cars together a lot, so I used to paint a few RC shells up for Broken Spoke.
Very nice.
And he did quite well in the RC car racing, so it's a bit of a crossover and into some sim racing there. That, but he's taken to it like a duck to water. But there's some it's going to be a close race out there. There's a few I know from driving with these guys. I've had some nice close battles with a lot of them, and it is 22 laps. It's
it's a little bit different to our normal format. We typically have 3 races, 2 of them being sprint races, and a double-length enduro to round out the racing. And the reverse grids can prove quite interesting. There's a lot of quicker guys that we usually finish up the front of race 1, who then are down the back of race 2. But given the fact that we don't have that tonight, I expect to see some more strategy flowing through and people playing the long game. So it'll be an interesting opening laps, and see who wants to run away early, and then see when they come in to see what strategies they want to try and pull off.
Yeah, it is very hard to know what to do. Do you go a 3-lap strategy and just hammer it? Do you fuel save and go 4 laps? Do you be extra conservative and try and push for 5? They are an odd number of laps as well, so there is a call for you to mix up. You can't just do the same thing all the way through. So it is such a hard race to get your head around.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm lucky to be racing next weekend, so I've still got all of next week to worry about strategy in terms of how many laps you do and how much time you lose by conserving to be able to do 5 laps. You're conserving fuel to be able to do 5 laps. How much is that going to affect your overall race time? So being in Div 1 myself, I've really got to find that or strike that fine balance. And then also if I'm doing the long run, I'm trying to fuel save. I'm the worst for it. I always get sucked in and want to try and keep up with the people in front of me, or potentially even get past them, and then that's going to kill my strategy. So it's not just about racing, it's definitely about the head game and how we can control ourselves to pull out a good end result.
Geez, low side, if I knew it was that easy to make you burn up your fuel, I would have put a carrot in front of your car ages ago. I think that might be your livery for next season. Someone's got to put a carrot on the front of your car.
Yeah, dangle something in front of me and I won't be able to resist.
Yeah. How have you been going with your trials, Fang, or your practice for it? You did a 22 lap this morning, didn't you?
Yeah, that was long. But it was good, and it is a long race we're talking about, and a long track compared to all the other tracks that we've raced on this year. You know, a lot of them are all done in under 2 minutes, and most of them are around that I think minute 30, minute 40 mark. Yeah, I should be quiet for a sec while we kick it off.
Here we go.
There we go, up on the start line, and look at that. First, second and third, so almost a two-row front lockout for the Porsche 911. So they typically get off to a fairly decent start, so I wonder if we hang with the top of the race there, Dodgy, and get a good view on first opening corner. Done. Beautiful. I don't have any lights for some reason, but and they're off.
Going.
Looks like everyone's reasonably clean so far. A bit of shuffling, try and find out a bit of space. Ooh, Tormentor's off to a flying start. He looks like he's almost challenging for the lead. Coming into the first chicane. Oh, he's getting squeezed by the Porsches. They don't want to give him any more room than what he needs.
Mate, that is the cleanest start I've ever seen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice.
Everyone's keeping it nice and respectful. I think they are realising that it's a long game. So even though Oz Tormentor got a fantastic start, he's realising that he needs to... as we see Broken Spoke getting a bit wild there. No, he's managed to keep it up. He's run wide again on Tetra Rouge too, and he's already picked up a half-second penalty, so that's not a great opening lap for him, unfortunately. He has got the rest of the lap to burn it though, but penalties have proved very difficult to burn around this track, so there are a lot of other tracks in GT Sport that will naturally burn as you start braking, so that'll hurt him initially. So looks like Baseman's off to a great 1 second lead already. Oh, chaos between Mad Jukesy and Checkmate, I think. No, between...
Is that a replay possibility?
Oh, I can bring a replay up while we're in the straight. Let's see how we go. Hopefully I get it.
Looks like Mad Jukesy, he was the loser out of that whole situation.
We've got Mad Jukesy coming along and Brendan, Marchie Boy's behind him. And as we go in, it looks like a little nudge there from Broken Spoke may have caused that all to happen and pushed it across. So... unfortunately for Mad Jukesy, he is off there. And now we're back on now. We'll shoot up to the lead, and we're with Baseman with Oz Tormentor just overtaking.
Yeah, so that Merc is really showing its strength down the straight. Unfortunately, the Porsche is fantastic through the corners, but down the Mulsanne straight, it just gets absolutely monstered by the power of the Lexus or the Jag, especially the Jag, and being a big V8 in that Merc as well. Unfortunately, it's just gone a little bit wide, and he's given that lead back to Baseman.
Yeah.
We see somebody else in the background's gone off as well.
Broken Spoke, unfortunately.
Yeah, Broken Spoke has been having not a great opening lap, unfortunately. Let's see if he can gather it. He's still got 22 laps to go, so fingers crossed he can pull something together for him.
How are we going up the front? It's a pretty tight pack after number 1 and 2. We might cross over to Marchie Boy, see where Marchie Boy's going.
Yep,
he's coming up in third there. We can see him coming up there.
Oz Tormentor's picked up a penalty.
Yeah, he's got a half a second. Burning it as he's coming up, I think.
Yeah, so Oz Tormentor's decided to back right out of that already. He's gotten rid of that penalty nice and quick, so he can get on with racing and he doesn't have to try and find space further down the lap to try and get rid of it. So, smart driving. Smart driving.
That's always the tricky thing is, where to burn that down.
Yeah, absolutely. And the sooner you get rid of it, the sooner you can just get on with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Marchie Boy is in a solid third place there so far, so there's still a shuffle for position sitting back with Big Red Ralph as well.
I must say, what I don't see so far, Captain, is anyone kicking back. I would have expected to see one or two of them just kick back, and in saying that, someone's just gone off again. I missed who that was.
Cowboy, maybe.
Cowboy's just gone off. I would have thought you had a few of them pair off by now and sort of work at it together. But they all seem to be hammering it and racing their own race at the moment. So it'll be interesting to see how that turns out.
Definitely, and the more you race harder in the opening laps, the more it can damage your tyres, so that can affect your strategy as well. Is if you're not in your peak tyre range in terms of grip, then it runs through your head where you want to pit early, and then if you do pit early, that can throw off the rest of your strategy. So you've got to think more on your feet rather than just focusing on driving. So it can really throw you off if you fall out of rhythm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, sometimes it's the best way to get back into it is just to find your comfy spot, get back into a nice groove, not pushing it too hard, but just getting back into the groove and working the pace up from there. So,
yeah, absolutely. And I do agree with you, Dodgy. It doesn't seem like anyone's trying to go, trying to pace themselves.
No,
it's interesting to see.
Well, what I'm actually noticing a lack of, and this must be one of the few divs without it, is the Aston Martins. Most divisions are chock full of Aston Martins, but this one, not so.
Not so much, no. We see a few Jags, a couple Mercs, but I think there's a lot of newcomers to the league, so that introduces its own hassle when you're up against a whole lot of team drivers, and they've already chosen the vehicles like the Jag and the Aston and the Lexus, and that only really leaves a few cars, but those cars can still be very competitive in their own right. So just because you're a newcomer, it doesn't mean that you're immediately shorthand. It seems like everyone's starting to pace themselves out now. They're finding a bit of room, finding a bit of groove. We do see Checkmate coming up behind Marchie Boy for the battle for third.
Yeah, we'll see if he stays there and takes the tow, or if he's in there to... I think he was pulling out then.
He looks like he's pretty racy. We know that the Super is very quick in a straight line, so again, that's the Porsche's downside. So maybe he's just sitting there in the slip, getting a bit of tow, trying to play the long game.
Saving a bit of that fuel.
Yeah, absolutely. And the more you can save fuel, the more it speeds up your pit stops as well, so you don't have to worry so much about a massive pit loss.
We also seem to be getting the same idea with Oz Tormentor and Baseman here too. Oh, no, I was saying that. Tormentor's opted to take the inside line.
Yeah, like I mentioned before, that Merc is just monstering the Porsche on the straight. Especially when the Merc has the slip straight up, he's able to just pass him like it's nothing. So we'll see what he can pull off in the last sector. Baseman might be able to pull that gap back and save his fuel.
Yeah, well, if you can, being in the Porsche, you'd try and jump on the back of one of those bigger donks and just try and get as much tow as you can out of it.
Yeah, definitely let them break the air instead of you. And it looks like Baseman and Oz Tormentor have settled in a little bit, and Checkmate is looking very racy. He's been able to get past Marchie Boy for third.
Yeah, he was on his tail for a long time there.
Oh, as we see Marchie straight up the inside.
Marchie wants it back.
Fantastic move. Yeah, he's not letting that slip very easily. Good work. Solid overtake coming into Porsche curves too. It's not a very easy place to shoot up the inside while keeping on track, so solid effort.
Interesting to
Marchie
see
runs
how
wide.
the strategy is for whether we'll see a pit stop lap 3, lap 4.
Yeah, it'll be interesting because there is that 2-lap deficit. Ultimately, no matter which way your strategy works, if it's 4 laps or 5 laps, if it's 4 laps, you end up with a 2-lap deficit. So you've got to try and fill that in somewhere. Some people are doing a 2-3 laps to fill the board.
Don't think we've had anyone going in yet, so we're on the third lap now. How's the tyres looking on these lead guys? The Merc compared to the Porsche, what's chewing it up the most?
They're honestly very, very close. It's difficult to actually see any difference between them. Although I think Oz Tormentor's fronts are slightly better than the Porsches, which is interesting. Would actually be the reverse of what I was expecting, being the mid-rear of the Porsche.
Yep.
Generally a little bit worse on the rear tyres than the fronts. And being a big heavy V8, the Merc is going to be...
Just had Cowboy pit. Cowboy's just coming out of the pits now.
Checkmate's gone for the move.
Just a fuel.
He's a newcomer, isn't he?
Cowboy.
Yeah, Checkmate's a brand new guy to the league. He's just joined this week.
But I've got to say, I love this. Love his American livery. That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. He's done well to whip that up in just a few days.
Definitely.
There we go. So Checkmate's sitting in comfy second position at the moment. He is creeping up to Oz Tormentor, but Merc again just on the straights.
He certainly wants that first place early.
I'll take that back. Checkmate has actually been able to mob past the Merc on the straights. Coming into the second.
Checkmate.
He's saying checkmate to himself in that cockpit right about now.
Yeah.
Although, that said, it's very early on in the race, so there is still 20 laps, 19 and a half laps to go.
It's anyone's game.
Yeah, I was going to say, Cowboy pitted on lap 2, so I'm not sure if he had damage and he fueled up, but didn't change tyres, so... Yeah.
I think Tormentor and Checkmate here need to calm down a little, I think. If they keep trying to overtake each other and, fight for the lead, they're just going to burn up tyres and burn up fuel, mainly. This is one of those tracks where the fuel burns off quicker than the tyres do. Your tyres will outlast your fuel easily on this track. But if they keep fighting, it's going to hurt their fuel very badly, so...
Yeah, definitely.
It could make a difference for any that are going the opposite and on a fuel saving strategy sort of thing. So, yeah.
Absolutely, and the biggest thing is you can race your absolute heart out battling with someone. While it's fantastic fun, it really does hurt your overall times. And the people who are fuel saving, they might be 10 seconds back, but that 10 seconds will be jumped in pit loss, in the space of a single stop, or maybe even over 2 stints. So you've really got to be careful of how hard you're racing initially. There we go. As we see, Oz Tormentor's taking the lead again. Though his tyres are looking worse on the fronts now. So as that next lap has gone on, the extra 15 to 20 Ks has started to eat up those fronts of the Merc.
Lucky.
Yeah, Baseman, I think, has chewed up his front tyres as well, shooting through those first couple laps, trying to find positions. So.
And there we go. Checkmate has just ducked into the pit, so he's trying for an undercut by the look of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's still got a fair chunk of juice left there, so...
He does.
Oh, we got Marchie joining him.
Marchie boy as well. Those guys are blinking early as well.
Both on the same amount of fuel left.
Exactly the same. Oh, as we see Broken Spoke go around at the final forward chicane as well. He's not having a great opener for the race.
And he's picked up a penalty as well.
A few laps to go left.
Burn him before the start finish. Yeah,
that's going to hurt.
That's hard.
Good man. Even being fresh to wheel, it's good to see he's read up on the rules and regs, and he's aware that penalties need to be burnt as soon as that lap is finished, or on the same lap ideally. But given that last chicane is several metres before the finish line, still got it done in a relatively quick time. So it's very good to see.
Yeah, I think that's probably one of those things at his forefront is, and that's a good thing about wheel to wheel, that that good, close, clean racing. So he's always, I guess, respectful of other drivers and that as well.
Yeah, definitely. He realises that it's... Good race car, good vision. It's great to see even the new guys are able to follow
the rules. Burn the penalty when on the lap you're in it.
Definitely. As much as it does suck.
Spot that one.
That one definitely is.
I think we've all had it where it's
I've had my fair share of penalties. In some practice races, I've managed to rack up about 12, 13 seconds in a single lap, and that really hurts. But it's all in the name of strategy and figuring out how far you can push your limits.
Well, we've got just Kingston at here has punched out a 4 minute, almost 4 minute flat, 4 minute 3 lap. Now that's a very good race time. That is, he's got to be pushing it. So I would have expected these guys to be somewhere around the 4:01.5, maybe 4:02, dipping into the 4:01s. But to push a 4 flat is, I don't know whether he's really pushing it or his race pace is really up there. He seems to be catching up to Baseman pretty quick though.
Yeah, he does. He hasn't come into the pits yet, so he potentially has the fuel to go for another lap, but it's going to be tight, so I think he's going to be in at the end of this lap, and we may even start to see those lap times tumble, just depending on how much he wants to fill up. You don't have to go a full tank on a Porsche, so he may just take that 75-80% mark and punch through for another 4 laps.
His fuel light is flashing, so, as is Oz's.
That's very interesting to see. Has Just Kingston come in for a fuel stop at all, or has he been able to save that more fuel than Oz Tormentor and Baseman?
I thought only Big Red Ralph it was that came in, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, we've seen Marchie and I think Cowboy have come in as well.
Yeah.
But they are in a track position which reflects a pit stop. So
that's right.
To see Baseman and Oz Tormentor with their fuel lights flashing, and then you've got Just Kingston with just under a quarter. He's certainly been able to save that more fuel while keeping up the pace.
Yeah, well, I think we must have just missed... unfortunately, I was not on, but it looks like we missed something with Oz Tormentor because he's now in 3rd.
I think he was burning a penalty on one of those straights leading up to the Porsche curves.
Okay, so these top 3 should be going into the pits now, and yep, we've got the 2 in there.
So Baseman's in, Just Kingston and Oz Tormentor.
Yep. What I might do is jump on with Checkmate, because he blinked just before, and that'll tell us that when they come out, that'll be for track position, so we'll know if he's undercut worked.
It looks like he's on for a fantastic outlap time as well. He's coming through the final Ford chicane in the 350s, so
wow,
it should be a mid. Yeah, see, that's a mid 55.
Wow,
for an outlap.
He must have been pushing that. Yep. And he has come out so far in front of these guys at the moment. He's really made that undercut stick.
Yeah, definitely.
Wow.
He could be that he's on a 3-lap stint, just pushing it to get out in front. Yeah, definitely. Looking at his fuel, he certainly looks like he's got another 4. Well, it looks like he's got a 3-lap further stint in him, so he should be able to pull off 4-lap stints. Maybe he was just getting that 3-lap deficit out of the way. Buffer
I'm
seems
just on
to
him
be...
at the moment, and he's got 1.5 seconds purple in the first sector, so he is not hanging around at all.
No, he's just balls out, go for it. I did notice Buffer is there Buffer is in 2nd. He mustn't have pitted. Can you check that for me in the fuel and tyres? Because otherwise he did a big jump of places in the pits.
No, he's not come into pit yet.
Yep.
He's just under a quarter of a tank, and his tyres are actually looking pretty respectable for being on his 5th lap now. So completed 4 laps and being on for 5th, his tyres are very good.
I've always loved his livery too. That's a pretty catching livery, that one. It's an awesome one.
Certainly stands out.
But the Porsches are catching him. Here's the problem with... They've just come out of the pits, and they've got to get around him. Hopefully they don't try and sit there and soak up his drag, his toe, because when it gets into the corners, I think they'll get stuck behind him.
Yeah, definitely. Ignoring the difference in tyre wear, the Porsches will have the edge on the Mazda in the corners anyway, so seeing that, Just Kingston is not wasting any time either, so he's already jumped past Buffer for second place. Just running through the rest of the field, it seems like everyone else is fairly well spaced out. So some strategy might be coming into play now that people have a bit more free space, a bit more air, just to punch out their own lap times.
He's just looks like Mad Dukes. He's had a penalty burn, so he's put that and that's allowed Big Red Ralph to round.
Managed to catch up.
So he's moved up into 8th position. Which is great. Got Navali coming up in 7th, which is awesome. Marchie Boy there in 6th. He will drop back for a bit, but on the way back. Then we've got Oz in 5th. Baseman, who's got a bit of a penalty there in 4th. Oh, Buffer. Just Kingston and checkmate out front.
Yeah. So we've got a bit of a battle for second place forming up at the moment. Looks like Buffer's been able to tag onto the back of Kingston for the remainder of this lap so far, but certainly looking at Buffer's fuel and tyres, he's got no option but to come in on this lap, so that will most likely break that battle up.
And Baseman has managed to cut that penalty right down. He's only got 0.1 of a second left now to burn, which he should be able to do successfully when he comes up to the chicanes or even in the Porsche corners coming up. So I don't think that's going to be very detrimental to him. Using Buffer to his ability, there he goes. He just burned it right there. Now, if he just uses the drag with Buffer till Buffer finishes his lap, he should be fine.
Yeah, absolutely. Smart driving again by Baseman. He's been able to burn that penalty while hanging on to the car in front. So that is a very unique talent, which I've not actually seen a lot of people be able to pull off. So it's fantastic to see, to add that little bit of strategy. It might be able to let you push just that little bit harder through the corners and risk a penalty, especially if you're able to burn it off without actually losing too much time. So risk to reward could be in his favour.
Yeah, and just checking in with Checkmate. There's no one near him at all. He's got a 16.5 second lead, almost a 17 second lead on these guys so far. So he could almost afford now to ease off on it and not, use maximum, which it doesn't look like he's doing now. He is. To me, it looks like he's just run wide there. But he has eased off a bit. Yeah, he's eased off a bit, and he's only 0.5 on that. I'm amazed. I thought it was going to be bigger than that. So he's taken it a bit easier now. So that may be his strategy. Just go like a cut snake, get out in front, and then ease off and let him catch up.
Yeah, look, with a 17-second lead and with half a tank of fuel, it looks like he's figured his strategy out, and he's just walked away from everyone so far.
Yeah, this isn't his first rodeo. You can tell by the lap times. He's a seasoned competitor, which is good.
Yeah, especially punching out 358s in race trim.
To see a 58.3 in race trim already.
Sure. Yeah.
Sorry, Fang, what was that?
Well, I'm pretty sure it's the first race of the season. Just this week.
Yep, he's a brand new guy to wheel, so the way our leaderboards and the way our system works is you're ranked out of driver value, and then our bobbies are ranked from driver value from number 1 to, what are we now? I think we're well over 100 drivers in wheel to wheel, so being a fresh guy, you are automatically put into Div 6, and then you can, if you've got the pace, you can certainly work your way up from there. It looks like Checkmate for the off-season and even Season 7 will certainly be one to keep an eye on.
Yeah, that's for sure. He's showing cracking pace out there today.
Looks like there's a bit of a battle heating up again between Oz Tormentor and one of the Porsches. I'm not sure if it's the same one as the opening laps, but he seems to be hanging around him quite a bit.
Yeah, he's up there on Baseman's behind.
Looks like he's giving him the hurry along on the straight. Which is interesting. Maybe he's learned from his opening stint, realised it's better to just tuck in and play the long game.
Yeah, that could be it. It is a very big wall of air that you're punching out of the way there. It does cost you dearly. If you're out by yourself, then 2 cars can catch you in no time. Now, if these guys decided to work together, being Baseman and Oz Tormentor, you'd almost think that they could catch Just Kingston it pretty quickly.
Yeah, definitely. It's being a 3.5 second gap between Just Kingston and Baseman is definitely something that can be brought in, especially if you're working with somebody else, like you say. Well, unfortunately, Baseman's picked up another half-second penalty, so he definitely needs to burn that for the line, which may hurt that cooperation between the two of them.
Well, if you burn it successfully and Tormentor goes around the outside, then technically you could almost, as Baseman, jump in behind Tormentor and then still work together. So it's pretty tricky how it works, but the 2 cars working together definitely works on this track for this length of time.
Yeah, definitely. And throughout my qualifying session, I was lucky to be able to team up with Adam V10, and we were certainly able to make more inroads working together for quicker qualifying times than if we were to be by ourselves. So
I'm expecting Big Red Ralph to come in this round. He pitted on the 2nd lap, so he should be in about now.
Yeah, unfortunately, Baseman has looped it at the final chicane. He pushed it a little bit wide on entry and just hit the curbs, and that's all she wrote. So
commentator's curse.
Unfortunately, yes, as soon as we start talking about someone, it brings some bad juju, but he's now dropped. Oh, yeah, he's dropped right off the lead, unfortunately.
Well, we're just on now with one of the drivers who's going to be coming into the straight very shortly, which is Marchie Boy. When he hits the straight up here, we might have a quick chat with him and see how he's going. So if you're on, Marchie Boy, feel free to let us know how your race is going once you're in the straight.
Yep.
How's it going? Is it comfortable out there?
Yeah, it's getting quite comfortable out there. I'm just trying to get Oz to mental slip at the moment, so just trying to concentrate on that, just trying to get some top marks from my points later on at the end of the race.
And how's your strategy going? Are you managing to stick to it so far?
Yeah, so far so good, but just see how I go. Just, if I keep doing what I'm doing right now, yeah, I should be fine.
No worries. Well, you're starting to get to the tricky end of the track, so we'll leave you to it. We'll try and get back to you sometime during the race.
Alright, thank you.
Oh, I swapped over to Checkmate. He's picked up a 0.5 penalty there as well, but being 16.5 in front, I don't think that's going to stress him out too much.
No, not at all. Although looking at his fuel, it looks like he's going to be coming in on lap 7. He's got enough to finish out this lap quite comfortably, but he will certainly not be able to push for another lap again.
How's his tyres looking? That seemed to be a bit wide on that corner for him. He might have just missed his braking marker, but did he change tyres?
Judging by tyre wear, I would say he changed tyres when he came in for the stop.
Yep.
Although it seems he's been running wide outside of the lanes just a little bit, and especially on worn tyres, it can introduce a little bit of dirt to the mix as well, and it can really hurt you in your braking zones. So it's probably why he pushed wide on Mulsanne corner. He's had a bunch of factors and didn't go quite his way.
Definitely got a little bunch back there going for 6th at the moment, with Mr. Navoli leading the pack, with Mad Dukesy and War Buffer in there as well. Oh, and that might be...
Yeah, it's fantastic to see Mr. Navoli get some solid results so far. He's one of our international racers, being from Japan, so fantastic to see him mixing it up with wheel to wheel.
Yep, and Broken Spokes in amongst it as well. So, and Big Red Ralph bringing up the rear of that group. So if they can stay together, then hopefully they'll be able to help each other out and push forward and catch up with Marchie and Baseman. Although that's a big ask. Baseman is 22 seconds in front.
Yeah, there's a massive gap between 5th and 6th on those two, but looking at tyre and fuel wear, they seem to be fairly similar strategies all throughout. Although Buffer seems to have easy double the amount of fuel compared to everyone else around him, so he may be getting a bit caught up in battling, which could hurt his strategy, or he's also using this to his advantage, sitting in there, saving that little bit more fuel, and still playing his long game, sticking to his pre-race strat.
Yeah, it does look like Big Red Ralph is catching up to Buffer at the end there too. He seems to be edging in that ever little bit closer.
Yeah, definitely. Looking at some of the... No, this battle pack is sure to go on for another lap, I'd say. A lot of people are still well above a quarter of a tank of fuel, which is comfortable for another lap.
Checkmate.
There we go. Yeah, good spot, Fang. Checkmate has come into the pits and he's gone full tank of fuel, brand new tyres, and he is now 12 seconds behind just Kingston. So even with under a potentially 18-second lead by the time he came in, it really goes to show how long the pit stops are here at Sarth and how badly they can impact your race.
Yeah, I just chucked in some fuel.
I think I just heard Marchie saying he's in the pits chucking in some fuel.
Yeah.
Yeah, looks like Marchie's done
next pit stop.
Yeah. So part of your strategy is to double think your tyres, come in for some fuel and cut down on those pit losses.
Yep.
Well, Checkmate seems to be catching up to Oz Tormentor pretty quick. He does have fresher rubber on, of course, so he's already up within 2 seconds of him, and he's within 11 seconds of just Kingston. But just Kingston did have the fastest lap before it was taken out by Checkmate. So it might end up being these two in the Porsches, once it all evens out, that are pushing it to the end.
Yeah, definitely. Looking over their lap times, they seem to be fairly consistent with each other. So I would say it's going to heat up towards the end of the 22 lap. It seems like Oz Tormentor coming down the end of Mulsanne Straight is about to be welcomed by Checkmate again. So Oz Tormentor yet again has been caught up in a battle with a Porsche.
Yeah, it certainly looks like Checkmate was in the slip there, so within reach. So you can nearly expect an overtake shortly. Maybe see how we go down this straight here.
Yeah, he's closed up that gap. It just edged out to over a second before the braking zone into Mulsanne Corner, but the Porsche showing its strength there of being able to brake quite late, and he's pulled that back by about 4/10, and being in the slip now, he's just going to get towed down this straight, and he's closing in. So we'll stick on this battle for a little bit because it looks like it'll heat up again.
Whoa.
Oz Tormentor pushes wide under brakes, gives Checkmate that little bit of a look. I'm sure he's looking for any mistake that will be able to see him take a jump. Well, having said that, Oz Tormentor is very low on fuel, so no doubt he'll be in on this lap, and then he'll leave Checkmate to take second place fairly comfortably. Ooh, we see Checkmate trying to go for a move into the Porsche curves. Oz Tormentor's wise. He pulls back. He sits in his slipstream there, which is the one section of the course where you don't really want to have any dirty air. Group 3s can be affected by it quite heavily, and then you throw in dirty tyres or old tyres can certainly slow you down.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Well, I think we might actually have on with us maybe Oz Tormentor, so as he pulls into the pits, if he wants to, we might see how he's going once he's in the pits. You there, Oz Tormentor?
Yeah, I'm here.
How you going, mate? How is it out there? You working up a sweat yet?
Yeah, working up a sweat. Trying to keep up with the Porsches, but yeah, on the corners they catch me.
Yeah, they're fast little beasts.
Well.
How's your...
Pulled out a nice...
You all right, Fang? Go for it, mate.
Yeah, you got a nice 4:01 for the second lap.
Yeah.
You're looking to make a little improvement on that?
Yeah, most I can get is a full flat, so...
Yeah, nice.
If you can do 4 flats while keeping to your strategy, it's fantastic race pace. Just looking back through the field, we've got a whole host in the pits as well. Big Red Ralph, Mr. Navoli, Baseman, and Mad Jukesy now as well. So there's a whole host of people on a similar strat. It looks like they're doing 4-lap stints, being in at the end of lap 8.
How's your strategy going, Tormentor? Are you on track for what you planned for?
Yeah, I did a couple practice before yesterday, and seemed to push out to 4, but got to put it a little bit back on the lean than the power if I'm not dropping anyone, because it just drains too much. 4 laps is all I can get out of the car.
Yep, understandable. Okay, well, you're coming up to the tricky part. I might let you try and catch up with Marchie and get that draft on, and we might catch up to you later.
You're all good.
Cheers, mate.
Yeah, so seeing some differing strategies already. So I'm just having a quick flick through the field, and it seems to be a fairly even split between people that have blinked first, came in on lap 2 or lap 3, versus those who are doing a 4-lap strategy. Like I mentioned early on in the stream, there is that 2-lap deficit. So if you're doing 4 laps, you end up at lap 20, then you've got to figure out how to do those last 2 laps. So potentially people have blinked first, gotten rid of those 2 laps nice and early, and then can just concentrate on doing 4-lap stints. Earlier on this week, I was doing some race practice, and I fell into a groove of doing 4-lap stints, and then decided to do a 3-lap stint instead, and actually ran out of fuel at the end of Sector 1 because I missed my pit entry thinking I could go for 4 laps. So luckily it was only practice, but it was good practice in the sense that I learned not to do that come race day.
Yeah, quite honestly, I was wondering whether we're going to see some fuel issues here this evening with people maybe burning a little too much trying to do the 4-lap stint and just slightly underfilling, which I know was an issue for me. It just, when you try and get the exact amount of fuel in, it's really nervous on that last quarter of the 3rd or 4th lap. You're wondering if you're going to make it.
Yeah,
I got that wrong once in one of the rounds for this season. So after that, I made sure I put an extra bit in. Nothing worse than running fuel and you've got half a lap to go. Nothing else. Or you're right on the line, which happened to me. It's Gardens, I think that was.
Yeah. You're in the Aston, correct, Fang?
Yeah, it's been a great car to drive, love it. It's,
certainly been the pick of...
I think that's a nice speed.
Yeah, car of choice for this season for a lot of the teams. And for good reason. Unfortunately, though, the Group 3 is a little bit thirsty on fuel, so, like you say, one of those fuel-saving strategies certainly will play a big reason in victory around Sark.
Yeah, well, the Aston, I'm in an Aston as well, and it is only, if you go max around here, you get 3.5 laps out of your fuel. Yep. So you can't really push it too much. You do have to save to make that 4th lap.
I kind of like the fuel saving by the short shifting and so just getting into sometimes it seems slow because you're not revving the car out. But yeah, you can find a nice, steady, smooth groove that comes along with it. You know, so
definitely, that was a similar story.
Me, I think. So,
for sure, it was a similar story for me with the Group 4 Lexus. Being the Group 3 is personally the strong point of the Lexus manufacturer. The Group 4 certainly pays dividends if you just slow things down a little bit, you start to do some fuel saving, and I realised by not overdriving the car or not going as hard as I can, I ended up actually being quicker. So it's one of those things. You think revving out a car is going to pay absolute dividends because it's making more power. It's not always the case. There's graphs that you can look at in the vehicle settings, and you can find out where peak power and peak torque actually sit. You can find a happy medium. You can also fuel save, and then you can also stay very close to optimal lap times.
Yes. How's the pack going now with Checkmate's back in the lead?
Certainly is. He's sitting in first place with a 21-second lead over Just Kingston at now. So since that next round of pit stops have occurred, he's quite clearly come out on top once again.
There is also low side, the upside of the fuel save as well. Not only the fuel, I find, but when you're short shifting to save fuel, I find it saves your tyres a lot more too. You tend to be just that slight bit slower in corners and leading into it, and it can get you a better line. And I find that my tyres, I can get an extra lap out of my tyres as well as my fuel when you're trying to, especially in the Aston, when you're trying to fuel save and short shift.
Yeah, definitely. Being overall a lot smoother with your inputs and being slightly more delayed or easy on the throttle certainly saves your rear tyres and introduces a lot less push to the front end. So then by that exact reason, you end up saving your fronts as well. So it's definitely a big knock-on effect, and if you can strike the balance, just right, it can pay dividends, especially in 22 laps, let alone doing some of the round enduros that we've had earlier on in the season.
Yeah, well, we seem to have Tormentor that has slowly but surely gained on Marchy Boy now. He's within a second, he's getting into that slipstream zone, so he's right up there.
Definitely is. The Supra is still quite a beast in the straight line, so it's certainly going to be one to watch between these two over the next lap or so and see who can hold out who.
Marty's looking good out there in third.
Certainly is.
And there's some close battles coming back down through the pack there, I think, before. I was looking back further at the back end of the pack with Cowboy. Now, Cowboy's haven't seen him in practice a lot this week. Usually do, but I'm not sure. He had a bit of a shocker on lap 2, that could have been his pit lap actually, but he's going alright. Cowboy, he's always up there. So, and then coming up from there, we've got Big Red Ralph. He's had some good battles with Big Red Ralph. Sorry,
commentator's curse there, Fang. He's just pushed wide on the exit. I need to brush up on my corners.
I should give the
but he managed to keep it together and stay out of the wall.
I need to just pass that commentator's curse on to Mr. Navaldi now, so Big Red can catch up again. Yeah.
I wonder if Mr. Navaldi's had a bit of a spin on this lap. I just saw a sector split, and he's 12 seconds down on his on his best lap so far. So, unfortunately, I think he's come a gutser somewhere.
Just switch over to third spot, Marchy and Tormentor. Tormentor's entered the straight right on Marchy's tail, so this is going to be a fight for the slipstream now. It's going to be interesting to see if he takes it or they work together.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like Tormentor's sitting just behind Marchy at the moment and probably playing it safe because he knows if he overtakes at the start of Mulsanne Straight, then following straights after the chicanes or even following Mulsanne Corner, the Supra is likely to fly straight back past. So a little bit of one-lap strategy might be coming into play here.
Speaking of laps, we're at the halfway point. Lap 11 of 22.
Time to get the no-dos.
Yeah. No-do-do-dos.
Yeah, I'm considering getting an audio book or something out for the 22 lap race.
Especially for those long straights, I think.
Yeah, that's it. At the start of it, when I was learning the track, I couldn't remember half the corners, and because it was that long, not a small condensed track, and I was almost looking for a Gran Turismo GPS device that could tell me you've got to, in 5 kilometres, you've got to turn.
It'd be like a rally, a co-driver in a rally car, and you'd be given a heads up on which corners and how long the straights are.
Yeah, I thought that would have been handy.
Oztormentor's doing a great job of taking Marchie's draft at the moment, so I think he's just kicking back saying, thank you, Marchie. I might save some fuel with you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's good to see that they're getting in and thinking ahead, these boys.
Yeah, I think they got it out of their system over the first couple laps. They figured out their race position and are now going to settle in for the final half of the race. So Marchi doing a double stint on those tyres. Looks like he's starting to wear them quite a lot more than Tormentor, who is only a couple laps in on his set. Yeah, so Tormentor might be getting held up by that, or he might be, considering the fuel saving gains here and just sitting in his slip.
I should just made quite a pit stop.
Pit stop early, you reckon, Marchie?
Yeah, I'm gonna go pit stop. Yep, definitely.
Yeah, your tyres might be saying so.
Yeah. I'm gonna go change my tyres.
Yeah.
Did you put tyres on when you fueled last time?
No, I just fueled in.
So that was a double stint on the set of softs that he had. So trying to cut down on the pit losses, which we know from Checkmate, and on that topic, he's ducked into the pits on lap 11 as well. Which hands the lead back to Just Kingston, who looks quite comfortable for at least one more lap, if not potentially 2, depending on how his strategy works out. It might be in on the end of lap 12, which means he's sticking to 4 lap stints to date.
Excuse me.
Yeah, everyone else seems to be rather spread out at the moment. They're all a bit stretched out there. What I might bring up, low side, if you have it on you, I've got the leaderboard here for Division 3. We've got a few Division 3 races on this bracket moment, racing for their grand final, so to speak. So do you want to run us through that Division 3 if you've got it?
Yep, I'm just pulling it up now. So, given the fact that this is a Super Enduro, we normally have 3 races in a round, and each one of those races you're ranked for your overall time, and that introduces 200 points per race. Obviously, with 3 races, ends up with 600 points as a maximum score of the round, and a Super Enduro means that it is triple points for the race. So first place out of overall times, not necessarily first place in this race, will walk away with a maximum points haul. Looking through Div 3, we have... Who's in this lobby I'm trying to find? Marchie Boy is sitting there quite comfortably with a 520. I can see Baseman, who has missed several rounds, unfortunately, in this season, so he's sitting there in 17th.
Screw Loose was supposed to be in this lobby as well, but I haven't seen him on tonight, so I think, unfortunately, we've lost Screw Loose somewhere along the line.
Yeah, I didn't see him early on in the lobby as well, even for the single lap race, so unfortunately he may have just missed a round, which will unfortunately incur a penalty to him. For RSVPing and then not racing.
Yeah, but most of these guys are in the our Division D, which is our introduction division. Have you got the stats for those guys there?
Yeah, so just running through D-League, as like you say, it's our introductory league for people who are in their rookie season with Wheel to Wheel. And who have we got leading that leaderboard? It looks like Fane. There we go. We have Oz Tormentor sitting down in 33rd. We have War Buffer and New Zealand Cowboy following close behind as well. So the battle between Tormentor and Buffer could heat up tonight as well. Given Tormentor's got, or is showing some good pace to date, he may end up edging slightly ahead of Buffer for the position on the leaderboards.
We've also got the sorry, Marchie.
You guys are supposed to read out some short bios that you guys are supposed to read out or something like that?
Yeah. Do you want me to read yours out, Marchie?
Yes, please. I'd love that.
Okay.
Leading question.
Here we go.
Exactly what I put on there.
First off, I was just going to say, I'm looking at the leaderboard. And we've got a couple of close ones on the leaderboard. With Mr. Navali and Big Red Ralph. There's 12 points separating them. And from that, next closest one up is Cowboy on 271. So, yeah.
I think my leaderboards have been cut off there, Fane. I haven't had that information.
Yeah, there's supposed to be some bios as well.
I've got. We'll come to the bio. Archie, here we go. I think it said something about you and Bunnings, is that right?
No.
I have the recording, Marchie.
No, it's fine.
Can't escape that one.
No. I'd get you to sing it, but I don't want to put you off your race, Marchie.
Yeah. There's something about...
There we go. Marchie Boy's biography. So he's a 24-year-old from Bundaberg in Queensland. He has been with Wheel to Wheel for 2 full seasons now and is hoping to continue for future seasons for as long as possible. So he's definitely shown his commitment to the league. I'm fairly sure he's not missed a round this season. I'm just trying to find him on the leaderboards again. And no, it looks like he's RSVP'd and raced in every single race. So fantastic commitment shown from Marchie.
Born in Lismore. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lived in Ballina for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And,
what else does it say, guys?
And it says.
Just keep reading out all of it if you guys want.
Oh, sorry. I'll let you go, Captain.
Yeah, sure. So he does have an intellectual learning disability where he struggles to cope and learn with everyday things in life. Certainly doesn't slow him down, though. I mean, looking at his times and looking at his commitment to Wheel to Wheel, it's a lot of things that come into play. It's not just about racing. You've got to, like we've talked about, strategy so much tonight. There's a lot of learning, a lot of discovering, a lot of practice that certainly goes into Wheel to Wheel. So even though he does have a bit of a disadvantage, it certainly doesn't slow him down, nor does it stop him getting involved, which is one of the reasons I love Wheel to Wheel. Looking at it as a whole, we've got something for everyone. You certainly don't need to show super pace all the time, and being a volunteer-run league, we're not playing for sheep stations. While it's fantastic to win, I have had some fantastic races myself, and I've finished towards the end of my division. I'm personally here to have some great races, and that's exactly what happens.
Anything else, Captain?
I've got to find where I went up to. Here we go. So he was born in Lismore in 96. He's lived in Ballina for a couple of years until he moved to Bundaberg officially in the year 2000. He's been there for the rest of his life to date. He lives by himself independently, which is another fantastic tick box for him. Given his disadvantages, he's being able to live an independent life, which is something even a lot of people can't say for themselves. So again, fantastic to see. His favourite sport to watch is cricket. T20 Big Bash League is right up the top of the list for him. Yep. Rugby League, NRL, and State of Origin. He is up the blues.
Yo.
I thought you were a Queenslander, Marchie.
I was born in Lismore. Okay. So the thing is with my bio, can I just say, with my bio, I was born in Lismore, lived in Ballina for a couple of years till we moved up to Bundaberg in 2000. But the reason why I'm a Blues supporter in Queensland is because I was born in New South Wales.
Well, there you go. That's the way to do
the
it.
reason why I say
Kicking
Queensland,
treaty colours.
yep, that's the reason why I say Queensland is because I live in Queensland. That's it.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Any other bios you guys want to read out?
Yeah. There's a few.
I've
Big Red
just
Rough's got
looking
one.
the next one up. Yeah, New Zealand Cowboy has submitted his bio as well. So he's 47 years of age. He's been racing production saloons since 2010. He's a classic muscle cars for the last 2 years. He joined Wheel to Wheel in the last off season, so about the same time as me. Prior to this season, for those of you who don't know, we hold 5-round off seasons to keep everyone busy, and that is when he joined Wheel to Wheel. Unfortunately, he was diagnosed with cancer number 3 this year, so he's been battling with that throughout the season, and it is still fantastic to see him punching on and continuing to race, even though he's dealing with such a terrible situation.
He does love a good race, though. He's always in there.
You can't keep a good man down.
Yeah. No, that's for sure. That's for sure. It says he also likes to build race cars and does other light engineering projects. I'd have to get him to share a few photos of his projects in the chat, I think. It's good to see. Yeah. And he had joined last year in the off-season, which is when I joined as well. So, yeah,
there's a lot of newbies that have joined. I think the entire commentary team is fresh to Wheel in well in our rookie seasons.
Yep, that we are. I only joined at the same time in the off-season as well.
Yeah, perfect.
we might go to Wall Buffer now he's got another biography here. So Wall Buffer is a dad of 2 with a partner that is the best. He's probably only saying that because she lets him get on to have a race. So.
I think that's a pretty big tick box if you ask me.
Yeah, that's it. Well, he does it. I should have kept reading. That lets me race on here. That's what he's saying.
There it is.
6 to 5 Monday to Friday, and just enjoys driving and having fun. Good stuff.
Yeah, he's sitting pretty in 7th at the moment. His lap times have been reasonably consistent looking through his chart, so good to see he's able to find his groove and race his own race.
It's
jumping back up to the front though. Yep. Sorry, go on, Dodgy.
I was going to say it's quite amazing how these guys have managed to spread themselves out. I don't think there's one pairing on that track. They have spread themselves out that much that they're all now fighting the win themselves. No one working together to try and catch up to anyone at the moment.
No, the only 2 people that I can see that are close on track is Marchie Boy and Tormentor again. So that battle for 3rd is really heating up. Being similar pit stop strategy, I'm not sure when Tormentor came in, but his tyres are looking a lot worse than Marchie Boy's. So he might have done the same tactic, came in for some fuel and double stint on the tyres, and tried to cut down on his pit loss there again. But yeah, like you say, everyone else has found quite a lot of freedom. Skipping back through the field, everyone's 10, 15 seconds between each other. Hanging back to the battle for 3rd place though, it's certainly heating up between Marchie Boy and Oz Tormentor.
Yeah, that's where the close battle's on. Or maybe not so much a battle, just getting it done together.
Yeah, a bit more tactics at play maybe.
Yeah, it could be.
It looked like Tormentor has more than enough fuel for 2 more laps, although his tyres are looking quite worn out. So
yeah, I was just looking a bit ordinary.
Yeah, keep an eye on him and see if he wants to come into the pits or if he wants to try and punch on.
His tyres are matching his paintwork.
Yeah, they've seen a lot of red.
Yeah, a lot of red there. But he's holding on to it. That's the thing.
Oh, he's
just
hanging
looking
to
at the
right.
fastest lap at the moment as well.
No. He's staying out.
Tormentor stays out. Committed to his strategy. Just popping back to fastest lap as well, Checkmate has pulled out a 57.5, which is a simply outstanding time when you're looking at the fact that he's been by himself for this entire race. He's jumped everyone at the start and blinked first, certainly got that undercut and made it work for him. So 57.5 is fantastic to see.
Yeah, punching out those times, and especially the strategy he's displaying, sort of tells me that after the off-season into the new season, you'd expect to see him up there with the Div 2 boys having races in those lobbies at least. So he may be one to watch in the new season of Wheel to Wheel.
Yeah, I agree. Being in some practice lobbies earlier on this week and even earlier today, you've been doing well, Marchie. You've been keeping it clean for quite a few laps.
Yeah.
So 1 second is, while it sucks, you can certainly burn that off and keep your head down. There we go, as we see him burning it now, and he's gotten rid of it already. And get back into it and keep on going. So it looks like we've missed a couple of pit stops. Broken Spoke looks like he's just come out of the pits. He's on brand new tyres and a full tank. Booker is the same. And I think that's it for the recent pit stoppers.
I see Broken Spokes come up a couple of positions after a shaky start at the start, but yeah, he's doing well.
Yeah, definitely. He's been able to claw his way back up. He certainly didn't have the great opening lap or opening 2 laps, so good to see he's been able to keep his head down and claw that time back.
Yeah, he's got some good consistency going, and
yeah.
Well,
he's sitting quite comfortably in 6th too.
We're on with Broken Spoke now, just watching him go through Fang. Well, you've got his bio there, or you know him, know his bio. Why don't you run through that for us?
yeah, maybe he can himself. Do you want to speak, Broken Spoke?
No, you talk.
Yeah, okay. Broken Spoke. It's funny calling him Broken Spoke. I know him by another name. And because of that, one of his big things, he likes listening to Peter Allen recordings. A bit of
that's it. You're out. Go on.
Loves a good bit of, yeah. So yeah, I know him as Pete, but yeah, he's going well. He's racing a little bit differently than most. He's first off, I should say, I mentioned before, we did a bit of RC car racing together. Pete took to it like a duck to water, and he's in a wheelchair. He's a partial quad, I think it is, but he's a sportsman and a tenacious competitor who, going from smashing up on the footy field to smashing up on a few racetracks and stuff, and also had his time playing murder ball, as they may call it, wheelchair rugby. So he loves to compete, and I've been doing this for a while and just loved it, knew he'd love it. We've raced quads together, as in racing drones, and done all sorts of crazy things together, and got sort of limited movement with the hands, but just some of the stuff he can do is pretty crazy. But yeah, hooked him up with a wheel. He got a good wheel. We ultimately need to hook up hand controls like he has in his Commodore to race, but at the moment he's racing with his pedals on a footstool strapped down with a strap. So he's working accelerator and the brake with his hand, which is
Are you
tricky.
kidding me? Broken Spoke, that's awesome.
No. He's
yeah, that is fantastic to hear. It certainly sounds like you've got that. Certainly sounds like you've got that fighting spirit, though. You can't keep a good man down. It's fantastic to see.
He on his car, the livery, he's got a Winchester livery and a fine livery made by myself. But yeah, I was trying to think what he into. So he's a cracking shot too. I think he's a secretary of his local gun club and just a cracking shot. And when he's not shooting targets, it's ruse and other stuff. He's own shooting rig made up, and
fantastic.
so he's doing
Sounds
well.
like he's living his best life.
Yeah, doing well, and just loves the race. I'm sort of glad I'm not racing with him because, he can often get the better of me, as he knows. But it's good to see him doing well.
Now, good luck with the rest of it, Broken Spoke. Hope it all goes well
next
for you.
season, I'm hook.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
All good.
Yep, race on.
So, sticking with the theme of bios, we have our international guest here tonight from Japan, Mr. Navoli. He's sitting in 8th at the moment with Mad Juicy just behind him on a fresh set of tyres that he's just come out of the pits in. But sticking with Mr. Navoli, he is a 37-year-old man who pretends to be a race car driver. I think we all fit into that category there, Navoli. He's had less than a year's worth of experience on a wheel and a permanent fixture at the back of the pack. While that may be the case, he's certainly got that fighting spirit again, and even though he has the occasional spin, it certainly doesn't stop him. He continues to plug through, keep his head down, and continuously improve, which is certainly something I admire. I've always said that you don't have to be better than anyone else. The only person you have to be better than is who you were yesterday. So Mr. Navoli is certainly living up to that. He is a fresh father as well, so mid-season he only missed one race because of the birth of his child, which is more than a valid reason to be able to miss a race. So congratulations to his young boy.
Wow, congratulations, Mr. Navoli.
Yeah, congrats.
Yep, congratulations. I think we've got 2 wheel-to-wheel babies this season, not necessarily this year, but this season that I know of. So yeah, it's well done. While there are a few very young up-and-coming wheel-to-wheel drivers out there in the group, I know we've got some 1 and 2 year olds everywhere. Speaking of which, Mr. Navoli has just gone off track. But
I just got finished talking about him. I thought my commentator's curse was over, and apparently not.
And Big Red Ralph's going to take advantage. There he goes. On you, Ralph. Ralph is actually part of Screw Loose Racing, which is my team. Which unfortunately the boss man Screw Loose hasn't made it tonight for whatever reason. So go for it, Big Red. Hope you get up there.
Yeah, I just noticed his livery as well. It's something I've not seen before. Given the shout out to the SLR 5000 Tirana, and SLR is Screw Loose Racing, so a good double entendre there for him.
Yeah, it was. And the green, we sort of agreed at the start that the theme we were going to have green cars, hence my car's green. I think they've all got a bit of green on those cars. Even to the point where we had the Bathurst round and we did retro livery, I did the green's tough Dick Johnson livery to stick with the green as well. So
yeah, perfect. No, you guys have done well. I think that's between Screw Loose Racing and Tormented Nightmares have stuck with a similar team livery. So it's great to see that we can distinguish team drivers as we go through the races. Just running through the field yet again, Checkmate has consistently pulled out more of a lead. He's sitting 26 seconds in front of Just Kingston in a fellow Porsche. So around Sarth, they are certainly showing their strength in tonight's racing.
Yeah, it's. I know there's a Div 1 driver out there at the moment. Yet another Kiwi in a Porsche who has been banging on all week about being slow. I'm not going to mention any names. Apex Humper. But I think what we're seeing tonight is proof that those Porsches have really got something. So I'd be worried if I was the others of Apex Humper. He has showed great form this season, so start getting very scared.
Yeah, absolutely. Being a fellow Div 1 driver, he has shown fantastic pace, and even throughout the week he says he struggles and then manages to pull it through on race day and just demolish quite a lot of people. The highlight being Brands Hatch. The Group 4 Porsche absolutely shone there, and I believe he finished a good 26 seconds in front of Pure Axel, who is an outstandingly fast driver as well. So over, I think it was 13 laps? No, sorry, that was our mid-year Super Enduro. That might have been 39 laps of Brands Hatch, and yeah, finished 25 seconds in front of second place. So absolutely flew a lot along that race.
Yep.
And on the topic of Porsches, and at the risk of jinxing it with the commentary curse, Checkmate is about 3/10 purple on his own lap time. So potentially looking like a low 57 from mid-race from Checkmate.
I might take the opportunity now to mention too that this whole season so far of Wheel to Wheel has managed to, well, other than tech difficulties, be streamed to 3 different platforms, which has been YouTube, Facebook and Twitch. And that is thanks to Racers World, who have sponsored us for this year. Now, Racers World, they're guys that do try and nurture grassroots racing on track. They work through a number of tracks through the country, especially through QR Raceway and Lakeside Raceway in Queensland. And I know they do a bit out at WA as well. So thank you very much, Racers. Your support has been awesome this year. This season, and hopefully we've got you on board for the next season as well, and we look forward to more support from you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Racers. They've certainly come on board and proven their commitment to Wheel to try and reach a wider audience. So fantastic initiative, and certainly appreciated from all of the racers.
Yeah, thanks, Racers.
Yeah, it certainly means that we continue doing what we love. Just doing another run through the field, it looks like Buffer and Mad Dukesy are very close to each other, so we might see a bit of action for a lap or 2 coming up shortly.
And Mad Dukesy is in, I think, the only Aston I've seen all night.
Yeah, certainly proving to be a diverse field, or a diverse grid tonight, which is great to see, because like you say, it's normally a field full of Astons and everyone else has to try and battle along with them. We've seen Mad Dukesy going wide into the Porsche curve, so I think he's picked up some dirty tyres, but certainly hasn't dropped off the back of Buffer too much.
Now we're almost at the point to find out what's going to happen with some of these pit strategies. For those that have just run 4s and 4s, they'd be starting to think about pitting early to get some sort of undercut and maybe run two laps of 3s towards the end of it. So it'll be interesting to see, or if they're going to run a 2 stint. So it's either 2 stints of 3 laps or 1 stint of 2 laps. So it's going to be interesting to see who does what.
Yeah, if you're feeling racy towards the end of the Enduro, you can certainly look to punch out those 2 laps right at the end. You can fill up with fuel. Yeah, you can fill up with half a tank of fuel, especially if you're in a battle. That's probably not the worst place to be, and you can finish with a racy car. It certainly proved to be a good combination in some of our other Enduros throughout the season, so it'll be interesting to see if people decide to pull that off again in the Super Enduro tonight.
Absolutely, but with Wheel to Wheel, Gran Turismo Sport, you've got to be careful as well. You've got to really know your car. If you've spent 20 laps doing 4-lap stints, your fuel settings are going to be set to that. So when you try and go, okay, I'm going to do 2 laps flat out, if you only put in 2 laps as per the register, then you're going to be short on fuel, because the way Gran Turismo Sport works, it's pretty cluey as to what you're doing with your fuel, and it is guessing for you that you're going to keep your accelerator pattern the same. So it's saying only put in this much fuel. So if you're going to hammer it, make sure you put in more than just your 2 laps of fuel.
Yeah, that's why I only go like a little bit over my fuel time.
I wasn't trying to give you a hint, Marchie. That'd be just talking out of school.
Yeah, that's alright. That's alright. I'm just saying my fuel strategy. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I go like maybe like 5% fuel over the dotted line.
We are coming to the end of the pointy end of the Enduro, Marchie. I'd be holding my cards a little bit closer to my chest in case some of the other racers are listening in and can figure out your strategy.
Yeah. I feel bad now. Sorry.
We might do.
No, not at all.
Just drive on there. You go well, Marchie.
Just pretend you didn't hear anything.
Sorry, did you say something, Marchie? I didn't hear a thing.
I'm too distracted by your car and your chicks pies. Can you quickly tell us about your car sponsorship? Because I've often wondered, you're often making me hungry when I see you drive past.
So chicks pies are located in Bundaberg, not far from where I am at the moment, but they sell some really good pies, soft rods, and really good bakery. They're awesome stuff. Love chicks pies.
Quick shout out to Chicks Pies.
Sorry?
Quick shout out to Chicks Pies.
Yeah, shout out to Chicks Pies here in Bundaberg. Awesome stuff, awesome bakery, awesome pies, awesome.
What's your favourite pie? What's your favourite pie, mate?
Gotta love the meat pie.
Mate, you can't go past the super classic.
Plain?
Yeah, just plain.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I must say the best in Bundaberg, the best bakery in Bundaberg goes to the Fred and Lynn's Pies in St Vincent Heights. Man, they have the best pies in Bundaberg, and they have won awards for their bakery. Shout out to them. Shout out to Fred and Lynn's Pies as well.
Awesome.
Well,
and
good stuff.
on the first to blink and show us their strategy for the end of the race is Oz Tormentor. He's just pitted, so he's obviously coming out to end it on a 4-lap strat for Oz Tormentor, and we've had Broken Spoke chase him in there as well. Expect to see a few more this lap, I dare say.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Oz Tormentor's been able to filter through the 2 laps and, like you say, come in on lap 18 and fuel and tyre to the end, which, yeah, he's certainly done. He's gone full tank, fresh set of tyres. I don't expect to see him in the pits before the end of the race.
And there's Buffer, he's just gone in too.
As well as Mad Dukesy, he looks like he's coming to the pits as well.
I've got Checkmate catching up with New Zealand Cowboy. New Zealand Cowboy, he was a bit further than that before. He must have had another spin, unfortunately. But I don't know if Checkmate is going to catch him before the pit, but I'd have to imagine that at least one of these 2 guys are going to be pitting by the end of the lap.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking at Checkmate's fuel, he's down to about 1/8 of a tank, so I don't expect him to be going any further than the end of this lap. And similar story with Cowboy as well, so we'll keep an eye on them. They may end up popping out together for the start of their last stint.
Cowboy's just had his fastest lap, well, look at that, with a 4:09, so that's
well
He certainly has.
After a bit of a challenging start and a couple of incidents along the line, he's going well again.
Yeah, definitely looks like he's pulled his socks up and he's kept his head down and carried through.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like Checkmate's doing the smart. Nope. I take that back completely. He's shot past Cowboy. He's
like he was
Cowboy's
standing
right
still.
Yeah, I think Cowboy pulled off to the left, just doing the right thing by the race. Doesn't want to get in anyone's way.
Cowboy's
smart
good
racing
like that.
again.
Yeah.
Very, very respectful.
He
like that.
is a very respectful racer to drive with. It's been a pleasure to
Definitely.
drive with Cowboy this year. He's a
There we go. As we say, Cowboy and Checkmate come into the pits for their final stint. So it looks like they've both pulled out a 3-lap stint. We must have missed when they did this last, but Checkmate and Cowboy are looking to fuel and tyre to the end.
Oh, did Kingston... I've just come into the end of that. I might just see if I can get a replay and catch him in there.
Yeah, he's still flashing red He's got some front wing damage, but it looks
Yeah,
like
no, I've missed the replay, unfortunately.
Okay.
Just caught it just as he was coming back. So
he's obviously come a gut to somewhere.
Yeah, it must have been pretty costly because it did throw. I would have expected him to get up close to being in front of Checkmate when Checkmate came out, but he's almost a minute behind now.
Yeah, definitely.
He'll definitely come out of the pits a minute behind.
It's hurt him. Yeah, unfortunately. There we go. We have Marchie Boy in a solid third place as well. Who... Yep. Yes, he's blinking. He's coming into the pits for his final 3-lap stint as well.
We've got a nice little battle happening now with Oz and Baseman. Back and forth in fifth. Nice
Yeah, it looks like
close racing.
Looks like Oz might be getting a little bit caught up with Baseman, who... Yeah, Baseman's definitely got a pit, as we see him peel off and give that fourth position to Tormentor, who was... we saw on the last lap, fueled and tied until the end. There we go. So it looks like he's been able to jump both Marchie Boy and Baseman into pits so far. We'll see where they pop out. Ooh. No, it's very close between Marchie Boy and Oz Tormentor through turn 1.
Yep.
Oof.
Remembering Oz Tormentor's a bit older on his shoes at the moment. And Marchie Boy's probably fueled up and been shod for a good, real big push to the end.
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking at Marchie's fuel now, and he's about just over 3/4 of a tank of fuel. So he's done the smart thing for the last 3 laps and gone for a slightly lighter car. So, like I touched on before, he's got a racy car at the end of the Enduro. So, with any luck, Tormentors still has the fuel save to make those last 3 laps, and Marchie Boy might be able to pull off a podium. There we go. Coming back to 9th place, Big Red Ralph is coming in for his final pit of the race.
I was just looking at Big Red's profile. We didn't have that one yet, do we?
Well, I think we have Big Red on board, don't we? Big Red, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, boys.
How you going, Ralphie? How's your race been so far?
Settled down a little bit now. I was a bit shaky in the early laps, a couple of little spins and things, but yeah, not too bad.
Happy with it so far?
Yeah. My aim is to try and get a few points back on Mr. Naboli.
Yeah, call that leaderboard.
Neck and neck all season, so
yeah, close battle between you two.
Yeah.
Now,
we're both.
Talking about bios, Ralph, I'm just sorry to interrupt. You have an interesting bio that you haven't submitted. I don't know whether you want to tell us about what you do for a living.
I manage a museum.
There you go.
Yeah, the Eden Killer Whale Museum.
That's the one. Yeah.
Yeah, wow. And it says here that you chose the name Big Red Ralph because I'm, quote, fat red-headed and known as Ralph to my friends. So I guess that's got it there. Yeah, nice.
Ralph is in Wreck-It Ralph?
I'm old, boys. Ralph is in Ralph from Happy Days.
Yeah, good point.
Semi-retired accountant.
Yeah.
That manages the Eden Killer Whale Museum now. So this bit I liked as well. Talked about your livery, and I've always loved your liveries because it says most of my liveries is brands of my youth because my short-term memory can't recall recent logos. If you haven't been to Eden on New South Wales far south coast, you're missing one of life's great adventures. Yeah, the Golden Fleece was a petrol station. Ralph might be able to tell you more about it. It was before Ampol and a few others. I'm not sure how it went, but
I think the ones down here taken over by Caltex. Yeah. But used to spend my school holidays working in Golden Fleece.
Good stuff.
Helping the old man stack KB beer.
Yeah, nice. I remember I met my old man drinking a few.
Yeah.
Kids beer.
KB,
right.
the old gold steel cans they were. You couldn't crush those suckers.
Absolutely.
So showing my own age there.
Yeah. So it's a good bit of fun. I started this during a bit of COVID lockdown when I was only working 1 day a week. So it was either sim racing or gardening. So yeah, that was an easy
unlikely choice.
How's the garden looking, Ralph?
Or I pay a guy to come in and do that.
Overgrown is the answer.
Got it sorted.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, thanks for that, Ralph. I hope you enjoy the rest of your race. You've only got a couple of laps left, and just knowing what Ralph does for a living there, and a few of the drivers we've spoken to so far tonight, it really does show the range of diversity in wheel to wheel. We've got everything from museum managers and accountants. We've got airline pilots. We've got Defence Force personnel. We've got people from the TV industry. We've just got average Joes in here. There is a place in wheel to wheel for everyone, even Marchie.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, that's one of the best things about wheel to wheel. There's very minimal egos. We're all here to have a good time, and it's exactly what happens. We're all here for some good racing, and it's great to see more of that tonight.
Yeah, well, we're almost up to the final lap. Not long to go now.
No, I don't think I'll catch Tormentor here.
Never say never, Marchie.
That's correct. That's right.
Absolutely. It's a long race, and like we were touching on before, if you've ended up with the racing car towards the end, your muscle memory is set for your braking markers and turn-in markers. So if you're starting to push them, you can easily outbrake yourself and shoot wide on a corner, and that's all it takes. One small mistake, and you can throw it all away.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
And you never know what the other driver's going to do, Marchie, so just hang in there.
I don't know. We'll have to see.
Yep.
Keep your head down. Not long to go.
Yeah, cheers, Bruce.
Just seen Will Buffo, going back to Will Buffo. He's just picked up a penalty.
Oh, yeah, and Mad Jukesy behind him in 8th as well.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, both of those guys have picked up penalty late in the game. Wonder if a bit of racing fatigue is...
40-second penalty?
40?
Yeah, that's what I need him to do.
Oh.
He might have just added a bit more to it, 2.4 seconds. He's got a bit to burn. Looks like he might be burning it now, Mad Dukesy.
I think we've missed the final round of pit stops, but flicking through the field again, it certainly looks like everyone's fueled and tired until the end of the race. So it doesn't seem like we'll end up with any last minute dashes for tyres or fuel just to make it to the end.
What sort of tyres has Tormentor have?
Ooh, that secret information.
Yeah.
We'll leave that one for post-race comms, I think.
Yeah.
Unless, of course, Tormentor wants to say it, but we'll leave that in his court.
Coming to the pointy end, it's, yeah.
Let's just say they're not that worn.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. Alright then.
Keep your nose to the grind, Marchie. You'll soon find out, no doubt.
Yep, absolutely.
Ooh, just jumping back up the front. Not that it's going to phase him much, being almost a minute ahead of the second place. But Checkmate has just got himself a 2-second penalty there. So
Yeah, I noticed that.
on his last lap.
Run it. Yeah, and had another fastest lap with 3:56.778.
Yeah, good spot there, Fang. He's on lap 21 out of 22. He's pulled off his fastest lap by about half a second, looking at his previous best. So right towards the end of the pointy end, after nearly an hour and a half in the seat, he's been able to still show his worth and pull fastest lap of the race. So
that's just harsh because I'm pretty sure that was my quali time.
Yeah. Although they've only recently joined, it's the obviously had some good practice or it's good skills behind the wheels.
Yeah, definitely. We have quite a few members of Wheel to Wheel who still do the daily and FIA races in Gran Turismo. So there's a lot of people that have extended an invite to other people that also do FIA races between manufacturers. And it's great to see some of these quicker guys making it to the league and introducing more of a challenge.
Sure. Starting to burn his penalty now. Feed that out. Checkmate. Right to go.
Jumping back to 7th and 8th quickly as well. They are starting their final lap between Buffer and Mad Juxi, and they're within 3/10 of each other. So fighting for that seventh position will certainly come down to the wire.
Did Juxi go too wide with that?
He might have just picked up a penalty.
That, he should be safe. He kept tyres on the white there, so he should be right on the curb.
Yeah, looks like he's gotten away with it.
I think we might have to go back to checkmate. He should be coming through the Porsche curves now. He's almost done and dusted.
Yes, he certainly is. Coming into 4 chicanes. Keeping it clean for the last race. He's timed his fuel down to the wire as well. He's been flashing for about half a lap. There we go. Nice and clean to the final chicane, and he's pulled through for the win by a solid 56 seconds.
Nice.
So unless Jeff Kingston can pull it back, that is an outstanding lead. So for his first race with Wheel to Wheel to win it by a minute, I don't think he's going to be hanging around Div 6 for long.
Oh, I don't think he should be hanging around Wheel to Wheel at all. I think he can bugger off now.
He can go back to daily races. Here we go. Back to Jeff Kingston in second place. He's 3/10 up on his personal best as well. So on the last lap, we might see him pull through something for a fantastic finish for second place. Here we go, keeping it clean, coming into the 4 chicanes. He's got plenty of fuel left, so he certainly played the safe card. Keeping it nice and smooth, nice and clean. Good entry, good exit.
Well
Very
done.
comfortable second position. Congratulations.
And Porsches.
Fastest lap too. By over half a second.
Oh, hold it, fellas. Don't start ruining it now.
Oh, Tormentor's cut that corner. Is he going to pick up a penalty in the final stage of this race? Marshy Boy's sitting pretty in third for a podium. Yeah, keeps it clean into the final set of chicanes as well.
Oh, it's close.
Tormentor's holding on. There we go. Marchie comes through for a solid position in third.
Yeah,
fantastic.
Well raced, gents. Well raced. Tough finish.
And again, fastest lap on lap 22 as well.
When I saw Oz Tormentor's penalty, I was like, "Yep, there's my chance. I'm going to just go."
There it is.
Also,
Baseman.
Yeah.
Oh, dang.
Baseman coming back in fifth. He's rounding the final set of chicanes as well.
All good.
Keeping it clean once more. There we go. Solid fifth place for Baseman. Good work.
Hey, Ralph, just make sure you share that and screenshot that replay.
He's got to finish the race first.
Yeah.
Broken spoke.
No, broken
he's
spoke.
nearly
Hold
looped it on the last corner.
He's got it.
That's a nice finish.
He's got it.
You got to go sideways for the finish.
Got to make it spectacular.
And here's another photo finish here with Juxi and Buffer.
Yeah, looks like.
Oh, and we have just had. We've gone past the time limit for the end of the. Because excuse me, because Checkmate was so far in front, you only have a certain amount of time to get the race finished. So unfortunately, we've gone past that time, which means a count back for good old admin to try and work out what everyone's finish time was. But we'll get there. It was a great race, guys. Great race by all.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep,
And
absolutely.
thanks for-
Congratulations to Checkmate on his initial race, or on his first race with Wheel to Wheel, take out the lead and win by a minute. So congratulations to him. Good work to Just Kingston in second, and congratulations to Marchie in third.
Yeah, thank you. And thanks for commentating for tonight, boys. Captain Nighton and Fang and Visuals on Dodgy.
Yeah,
thanks,
nice.
Marchie. And what I might do, Captain, is let you throw it out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, au revoir. Au revoir.
Yeah, got to get going because I've got a race in 20 minutes.
There you go.
All the best.
Congratulations all. Shout out to Racers again for sponsoring our streams for the league.
Thanks, Racers.
Good work by all. We'll see you again on Wheel to Wheel Racing.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thanks a lot, guys. Have a great one.
Thanks, everybody.